What is up everyone, Ducky O'Brien here, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys a quick look at the game Highly Likely. Highly Likely is a small indie title developed by Mikola Games. It was released this January into early access. They're finishing up Acts 5 and 6, so they decided to release it early because they couldn't meet their deadline. But let's get started. It's pretty charming. There are some bugs. The first one is that if you set the language to English, the narration somehow flips it into Russian or whatever language this is, but let's get started. The animation and narration is pretty charming.
Our story begins on a plain and completely unremarkable homestead. It was home to a most ordinary family, unsophisticated and somewhat naive Mikola, his simple and hard-working wife, their dog Polkan, their cat Barsik. Their lives were commonplace, absolutely nothing remarkable about them. They went fishing in the spring, with quite the catch to show for it. They gardened in the summer. The land was fertile, the harvests always good. In the fall, the harvest in, they liked picking berries and mushrooms in the forest. Oh, how they loved jam with their tea, salted mushrooms and boiled potatoes. They went skiing in the winter. The snow and frost were perfect. But one day, Mikola and his wife were watching a TV show about warm, far-off countries. The sea was clear, the beaches white. And that's when Mikola's dream was born. He decided that he and his better half would visit those foreign seas, where they would rest from their daily troubles, see the world, let the world see them, and add a little flavor to their humdrum lives. From that point on, Mikola was beside himself day and night, trying to figure out how to earn enough money for his dream. Suddenly, an idea dawned on him. Practical, if a bit risky. With complete confidence in his plan, Mikola decided to go to the bank, take out a loan, and buy seed. The bank bought in. The loan was his. The collateral, his homestead. Mikola walked out of the bank, brimming with joy, bills peeking out of his pockets. Thrilled and exultant, he dashed over to the market to buy seed. Mikola got to the market and spent everything he had on the most expensive, high-yield seed there was, according to the seller. Back home, he and his wife lost no time plowing the soil and sowing their new seed. Sprouts burst out across the field, bloomed and grew stronger. Mikola and his wife couldn't have been happier. They could just taste their trip to the warm sea, feel those foreign lands. But their dream was not to come true. Mother Nature had other plans. The summer was unusually rainy, and the entire crop died. Their dreams washed right away. It's hard to put into words the pain and disappointment they felt, what they went through deep inside, the thoughts that ate at them. They couldn't understand why fate had played such a mean trick. Mikola despaired. He didn't know what to do. The money had to be paid back. Time was ticking. The bank was insistent. He was going to lose his homestead. That probably could have been the end of our sad story, At least it would have been if fate hadn't intervened once more with a second chance. It's hard to say if it's luck or just another dark twist. But that's a different story, one in which enthralling, sometimes dangerous, and always unexpected adventures await our heroes.
Lovely. Okay, so this is Act 1. It's basically a point-and-click adventure. Now I'm gonna switch the language back to English.
Миколу.
Alright,
Печальные мысли не покидали.
let's take this bone here. Controls are very simple. You got WASD to move around, and then spacebar to interact. Shift to scroll through your inventory.
A sudden call from the bank disturbed Mikola even more. They decided to remind him that the loan repayment terms were inexorably approaching, and there was very little time left. After the call, Mikola completely lost heart. He wished he could gather his thoughts and come up with a way to earn some money to save the homestead, but how can one think in such a situation? I should go take a walk in the forest, Mikola thought. It's quiet and calm there. No one and nothing will disturb me. Maybe if I gather my thoughts, I'll come up with something sensible.
Okay. So as you can see, there's a lot of areas to explore as the act
Mikola
progresses.
wandered around the forest for a long time in hopes that something would cross his mind, but he couldn't come up with anything. Oh, just look at this poor old fellow. It's time to return, Mikola thought, but I need to answer the call of nature before I head back.
The call of duty.
Right when Mikola approached the bush, suddenly he noticed something strange. He even cheered up a bit and, forgetting about his natural needs, began to push the bushes apart.
Just literally dropped it.
Whoa, well I'll be, Mikola said. It's an oil pipeline. The abandoned oil pipeline I read about in the newspaper. I wonder if the pipe is empty, thought Mikola, and at that moment he came up with a grand plan. Without thinking twice, and without wasting precious time, Mikola pulled up his pants and went back to the farm to grab his tools.
I don't know if it's a great thing or not for people who like point-and-click adventures, but the narrator pretty much tells you what the next step is, so if you ever get lost, just listen to the narrator.
He got a bucket.
It's pretty straightforward. It's not that challenging. Characters are charming. I can tell that this is gonna be a pretty dark story.
He took his hand drill. Its bit was lying somewhere around. And here is the drill bit. He also needed a hose.
There are some bugs in the game.
He found the
They're
hose.
still ironing it out.
Well, it seems like I got everything I need, Mikola muttered to himself. Now I can go back to the forest, to the pipe.
Well, let's go, Mikola.
Oh, and let me grab a corn cob, thought Mikola. I'll have something to chew on while I'm walking. Mikola is walking through the forest, chewing on the corn comb, thinking that maybe his fate was not really that bad to him. Maybe there actually was something left in the pipe, that he could pump it out and sell it to get some money and pay off his loan.
Here I picked the drill.
Mikola took his drill and began carefully drilling a hole in the pipe. With trepidation and excitement, Mikola inserted the hose into the hole and, oh joy! To his surprise, precious black gold poured right into the bucket. I was right, he thought. Even though the pipe is abandoned, it still has some oil in it. Mikola filled the bucket, plugged the hole in the pipe with the corn cob, and went back to the farm.
Let's go.
Mikola was walking back to the homestead, barely dragging the heavy bucket and thinking, what am I going to do with this wealth? Suddenly, his natural ingenuity and acumen returned to him. He decided to try to refine the oil into gasoline, using his moonshine still. After all, it's much easier to sell gasoline. Mikola returned to the homestead and, without wasting time, went straight behind the barn, to the clearing where he had the moonshine still hidden, which he secretly used to make excellent moonshine.
I kind of want my own distillery. Kind of interact with objects to go to different areas. And try to ease the
Wow.
loading process.
That was quite a walk, Mikola muttered, with tiredness in his voice. Mikola poured the contents of the bucket into the can and went to make fire in the furnace. There is no axe. Oh, what a rattlebrain. I was in the barn a moment ago and didn't grab the axe. Well, you can't chop wood without an axe. He'll have to go back to the barn. By the way, there are no matches either, so he'd better not forget to take them too.
Roger, roger. Let me get. Let me get. There we go. Kind of looks like Mario to me. I don't know. I think it's a mustache? Question mark. All right. How convenient, an axe is right here.
Oh, here's the axe, Mikola said. And there were the matches. It's time to go back.
It is indeed. I must ask you a question, but I'll shave it for later. I think it'd be nicer if there were no loading screen, but I'm assuming they put that in there just in case you're playing it on like a slower computer. Okay. That's just a little bit confusing, but instead of putting the wood in there, you put the match and then pick
Mikola
it.
chopped some wood and lit the fire in the furnace. Feeding the wood to the fire, Mikola was thinking of a good way to sell the gas. He couldn't take it to the fair. It could cause some unwanted questions. And then he remembered that when Grzegorz, his brother-in-law, came to visit, he said that he had purchased a car, and a car needs gasoline to run.
It's kind of neat that this is a little bit interactive.
In the meantime, the oil was successfully produced. Mikola took the bucket and went straight to his brother-in-law, who lived across the river.
Let's go. Kind of wonder, what if the bucket was leaky? That would kind of suck. I love how janky everything is.
When Mikola reached the bank, he saw that the ferryman wasn't there. Well, it looks like he'll have to pull the ferry himself. As Mikola was turning the lever, he recalled how Grzegorz talked about a dog he got after some kids got into the habit of stealing carrots from his garden. That dog turned out to be very mean, so Grzegorz told everyone to keep a good distance away from his house, or the dog would eat you whole. And for anyone who wanted to meet him, meet Grzegorz, not the dog. He set a bell near the riverbank. If you rang it 3 times, he would hear and come.
It's kind of neat. Imagine doing this in real life and I would probably get stuck halfway down the river because I would get tired and just give up.
Mikola rang the bell exactly 3 times, as his brother-in-law had told him to. Mikola didn't have to wait long. Grzegorz came right away.
There's some kinks they gotta work out
They
there.
both were delighted to see each other. They haven't met for almost a year. They chatted a little about this and that, and then Mikola got down to... He said that he had some high-quality gasoline for sale at a bargain price. Grzegorz was quite interested in Mikola's offer. Great gasoline and cheap. He gladly bought it and asked for more. Mikola too was glad that he had managed to sell the gas and promised to bring more of it soon. They talked a bit more, then said their goodbyes. Grzegorz went home, and Mikola, in high spirits, went back to his homestead. Mikola went back happy as a clam. He was inspired by the fact that he had managed to sell the gasoline so easily. Now, Mikola thought, I can pay off the loan and save the homestead.
Or so he
Mikola's
thought.
head was full
So
of
he
grand
thought.
plans. Oh, Mikola did not even suspect what dangers and surprises his fate
I'm gonna
had
stop
in
it there
store
so
for
I don't
him.
spoil the game anymore. This is just the beginning of Act 1. There's gonna be up to 6 acts. Well, there you have it, folks. That was Highly Likely from Mikola Games. It's out now on early access on Steam. And you know what? It looks pretty okay, solid. There are some bugs that I've noticed, or some kinks that I gotta iron out. Some animation not working properly, or some of the audio being a little bit off. But other than that, I enjoyed what I've seen, and I can't wait to see them finish the game. But anyways, there you have it. If you're interested, I'll include the link in the description below. Anyways, thank you so much for dropping by. I really do appreciate it. If you have any questions, comments, or things you'd like to see, please feel free to leave a comment down below. And as always, catch you guys next time.